because I need to record this bad boy too. And if you're joining the call here before we officially get started, please mute your line out. Any last minute watch parties, if you want to tag or anything with your team, please do that. And we will proceed. So get back to speaker view. We've got Nia that there we go. Okay, John, you're back. Okay, I got you on the main screen now.
All right.
It's a good thing I know how to edit videos because the final cut's going to look good. But hey, everyone, welcome to the call tonight. My name is Mike Lemire. I'm excited to be one of the ones to share this opportunity here tonight. And I was saying earlier, you know, when I met Mark and Cindy Pentecost, I was just so impressed at what, you know, just
talking. I'm just going to do a fun little.
Hey guys, if you could mute your lines out here. I thought I hit mute for us. Hold on. Unmute John. All right, John, you're good. Okay. All right, for the third time, I'm going to welcome everybody to this call here tonight. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, but we're officially going to get started. And when I was talking about warrior men, John, I think it's such a great way to intro you. It's been a fortunate experience to get to know you and your lovely wife and your amazing family. But when Brandy had a chance to, you know, to interview your wife, and I got to hear some of your story, more of your story, because I've heard bits and pieces. So I'm excited tonight to hear your story, but just impressed, John, with your background, you know, just the quality of, sorry guys, we're having master mute issues. But, you know, just the caliber of a human being you are, John. And see, I'm dragging this out. I'm making this look good and feel good for you. I'm building this thing up. But it's like I always tell people, you don't need to be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I always say I'm in the shed. You know, it's not hard to do. We just got to be in the right place at the right time. But with that, John, let's start with your story. Share with all of our guests here today on Facebook Live, just, you know, your awesome story, and then we'll get into a little bit of our business conversation tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always just a privilege. Feel like we should be doing this more. And the same goes to you, Costa Rica, and you guys are just the real deal, and blessed to have you and you know, the Works family. It's funny how, you know, the Lord just brings things together in his timing. And so it's a privilege to be on with you tonight, and everyone else who's listening, whether you're new or, you know, whether you've been with It Works or whatever you're doing. We're just, you know, blessed that you would take the time on a Saturday to you know, hear what's going to be said tonight. But man, our story, my name is John Alcala. My wife, Sherry Lynn Alcala. We are a family of 5. We have let's see, let me think about this. 10-year-old, and then we have a 20-month-old that, you know, was a bit of a surprise, but he's awesome. But, you know, just about, I guess it'll be 6 years in June that we took the leap. And when I say we, it was actually my wife that took the first step. I didn't really know what was going on. I work at a financial firm, and I was working back then for the same firm. But what we found is that, you know, we did what people said you were supposed to do, that you go to college, you get your degrees, you know, you find a good job, you put a little in your 401k, and that's life, you know. And we kind of bought into that because it was, you know, quote unquote comfortable at the time. But, you know, around the time that our first child was, you know, I think at 3 years old, 2, 3 years old, Sherry wanted to put her in dance class. And we had always just been very stringent on our budget. We just didn't have extra. And, you know, when she said, you know, I want another $80 a month to put our daughter in dance, I literally looked at the budget, and we didn't have it. And from the outside, it looked like we had it going on. We had a cute little house, and, you know, we had 2 functioning cars, and we were a young married couple. But the fact is that there were many months that there was just more month than money. And there were times where just when we thought we were getting ahead, the air conditioner would go out. And so we would have to go into debt just to, take care of an air conditioner or whatever. And it just literally never felt like we could get ahead in life. It felt like we were just on this like hamster wheel of just running as fast as we could, really gaining no ground. And so my wife had, just had our second baby, and she wanted to get back into some jeans. And she found It Works product. And I'll never forget the simple statement that was said to her. It was like, hey, if you're interested in making extra income, we would, I'd love for you to do this business with me. And this was really an acquaintance that she had gone to Bible school with. And, that day, Sherry really signed up just thinking, you know what, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to get the product. I'm going to use the product and probably do nothing with it. But I can honestly say that the simple fact that she took a step of faith into this business, it was the very thing that enabled us to breathe more, and fast forward 6 years later, our lives are completely different. I still work at the same financial firm. It's been a blessing to us, but it no longer is our primary source of income. It Works has far surpassed a Wall Street job. And, the beauty and the hard thing in it is, while I sit at a desk all day, Sherry works from home all day. She's with our kids all day. She dictates her schedule. She financially makes more than me, but she has freedom that I don't have liberty to have. And, I don't know if you're new on this call. I don't know, if maybe you've been with It Works for a short amount of time, but I just think you have to understand that there's more for you, and there's bigger things for you. And there's, the Lord wants to do things that are so great and so big in your life and through you, but it's hard to even fathom that when you can't breathe. People always say like money can't bring happiness. You're right. It can't bring happiness, but what it brings is it brings freedom. And so you get to choose, what do I want to do with the resources I now have? And so now our lives are different in the sense that, during chaotic times with coronavirus and, really before coronavirus, my firm was laying off people. And, while I would never want to get laid off, I had freedom in knowing that if that happened, we were going to be okay. And now more than ever, you're seeing that you have to, if to have stability in life, you can't have all your eggs in one basket. You really need to have multiple streams of income so that if something falls down, the other one can pick it up. And I know for some of you, you're like, John, I just started. That sounds like kind of crazy to even think that way. Trust me, we didn't think this way 6 years ago. 6 years ago, all we thought about was $80 a month. That's all. Like, if we could just make $80 a month. And, with hard work, with dedication, with showing up every day, with running this business as a true business, we saw our income increase over time. And, we're able to give to our church. We're able to give to orphanages. We're able to go on vacations. We're able to, we're debt free. And none of that would have happened had we not taken a $99 step of faith at that time. And we, Mike he's far more well-versed in this industry than me. We've only done it 6 years. So it goes to show you that, like, it doesn't matter, if you think you can or you think you can't. It's just, you have to be willing to take a step in and see what happens. You have to be able to, whether, you've already signed and you're with a micro brandy, or whether you're looking to sign with whoever brought you to this call tonight, like, they will partner with you and they will teach you what to do day in and day out in order to change your life. Like, that's what it truly is all about, is that if we can come together and understand that it's really bigger than a company, it's bigger than a paycheck, especially at times like right now, man, it's about paying people's electric bills. It's about people keeping their homes. It's about people, being able to stay home with their kids during this time. It's about people not losing their vehicles because they can't make the payment. Like, these are the times more than ever that if you've kind of been on the fence and you're like, is this right for me? Like, let me just break it down for you. Like, there is zero risk in joining us today. There is zero risk in joining whoever invited you to this call. You joined for $99 right now. If you joined for $99, you're going to get $50 instant in product credit. And then, you know what? You're going to get like all these samples that you can actually turn around and sell. And guess what? You can actually start your business for free if you want to. And the thing that's amazing about this is that there is no other business model that this is possible. Like, go name a business that you can start, and you can start literally for $0 after everything you back. There's not one. Like, you want to open a bakery? Good luck. You're going to go tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands in debt. You want to start a baby boutique? Guess what? You're going to have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of inventory waiting there to be sold. It doesn't matter what kind of business you start. You will always have to go into debt before you can make an income. What we have in our hand is so priceless. We have hope. We have a vehicle that can, you can make what you want to make given the work that you put in. And while we're talking, Mike, if you're brand new on this call and you need to see the income disclosure, you can go to itworks.com/IDC and you can look at all the income disclosure there. And we're not a public company, but we believe so much in what we're doing. We put it out there. We're like, this is what you're capable of doing. This is what you're capable of making. And that's what I love about the company we're with. We have nothing to hide. We are who we are. We're in the business of changing lives. And we can honestly say that because my family is one of them. And so that's kind of our story, Mike. And I don't know if you want me to expand very much on that, but we're just so
awesome.
grateful that
was awesome. I mean, you condensed what most people do in 30 minutes. You did that in 10 minutes. You covered a lot, and I love that. But no, we were very fortunate to spend some time with you guys in Costa Rica, and actually all the leadership here for that matter. That was impressive. I mean, I've seen a lot of different companies, owners, leadership, and so, it all starts and everything rises and falls from leadership. And so from Mark Pentecost and Cindy Pentecost down, to the executives, to the top leaders like yourself. It is the culture, in my opinion, that people need to be in, because it's not just about the money. I always tell people, John, it's not always how, and this being a financial guy, it's not always how much money you make, it's how you make your money.
Right.
And today, people are waking up because they're like, wow, there are layoffs, downsizing, right sizing going on. This quarantine has Neiman Marcus just filed bankruptcy, Bravo, Brio. All these things happening so fast. And people, I say this every day, they're having two wake-up calls. One, they've got to focus on their health. And two, they have to have multiple streams of income, just like you shared. So I do want to deep dive just for a second on, when I first looked at the company in the mid-2000s, pretty much all they had was the wrap. And I was like, love you guys, great people, but I'm like, this is like women in wraps. So at that time, I just didn't really pay attention. What I love is the fact that the product line expanded over 30 new products in 2019, 4 new countries. So you've got international expansion happening. John, let's talk a little bit about timing. You have an advantage. You've been here for 6 years. You've seen a lot. The number 2 income earner in the company. So that says a lot. And you're not the type of person to try and impress people. That's what I like about you. You impress upon people that they can do this too. So let's talk about timing right now. After what you've seen in 6 years, and now we just launched with Skinny Brew, which is kind of like, whoa, taking over the world right now. Let's talk timing, with this company and what's happening here and what's going to happen in 2020.
All right. So you know what? Over the last really 2 weeks, I've never been more excited about what's coming. And here's why. And I'm going to nerd out on you guys just for a little bit, because it was like a light bulb went off in my mind. And I was actually at my corporate job, and I was on a phone call with an analyst from one of our investment bankers. And they began to talk about, in times like these, that the most successful industry is actually a network marketing type model. And so I literally, like, my mind was blown, Mike, because here I am taking a call with an investment banker on Wall Street, and they're spending 30 to 45 minutes about what we are doing on, I always say on the side, but as our primary source of income. And so the fact that Wall Street's talking about it, and then I begin to think about this. 6 years ago, we joined but it was actually towards the end of a huge run that a lot of network marketing had. And so if you go back to 2008, 2009, and this is where I'm going to nerd out on you, what did the economy do? It crashed because of so many different things, but I believe it was mainly the mortgage crisis, right? And so what happened? So 2008, 2009, the economy crashes. What did Networks do? They went debt free. And so you think about 2008, 2009, while the economy is doing this, It Works is going debt free. Over the next 5 years, all the way through 2015, It Works went on this amazing, just powerful run because of the momentum of people needing extra income going into those next 5, 6 years. Guess where we are right now? What's happening? What, like millions right now in unemployment, looking for an opportunity to make an extra income, markets going down, and guess where we are once again? Why do you think last month and this month are the biggest months of the year already? Because people are looking for a reason. So like on Wall Street, we're just constantly looking at cycles. In this business, you're looking at cycles. So right now, at this very moment, it's just a repeat. I texted Mark. I said, my mind is blown. I now understand why you were able to go debt free when everyone was going into debt. And we're seeing that once again. And so you talk about timing, Mike. If you're on the fence, like truly now is the time, because we have first to market products. We've literally warped into a coffee company that is just absolutely amazing. And that's like that. The coffee is unbelievable. But then you talk about the other products that can follow that up for overall health and wellness. You mix that with people who need extra income right now. They need to be able to pay some bills. They're hungry. They're out there, and they basically get to start for nothing because they pay $99. They get over that in product immediately, and they get to start their business, a legitimate business. And I guarantee you, like, now is the time to join. I mean, now is the time, because we are going to go on another huge run. We're already seeing it. We're already, seeing volume this month like we've never seen before. Promotions coming in like we haven't seen before. And it's all just kind of this perfect timing that's moving into it. And so I nerded out on you a little bit, but I'm just being honest with you. And Mike, you've seen these cycles too, being in the business for 24 years. But if I've seen two, and guess what? They were both with this company, and they're both in similar situations. And that's why I'm more excited than ever, because we are going to literally change hundreds of thousands of lives over the next 5 years. And the great thing is, like, we're not some of these other companies that have millions of distributors. Like, we are still a very young company when you really think about it. And so the beauty about being with a young company is that we have all the tools the big companies have, but the market saturation is hardly anything. So like, there's people out here who've never heard the word It Works. And that's what excites me more now than ever, Mike.
Yeah, those are great points. And, the timing is so important. It's like real estate or the stock market. And so painting that canvas that you just did for everybody, that was a great analogy, because it's not just an analogy, it's very factual of what's happening right now. And for the guests that are on here or people that are joining to watch a recording down the road, remember this is a debt-free, faith-based, pretty much billion-dollar company that is going on the biggest run of its career. And in fact, one thing I've studied, John, is that some of the largest companies, the legacy companies in our industry, they do really well the first 15, 20 years. It's tough to get there. But the second 20 years are where most of the legacy is made. That's where the biggest growth comes from, the most millionaires, the people that build generational wealth. And so I do want to talk about, just to kind of wrap up here tonight, one of the big things I try to share with anyone, male, female, couples, young, old, doesn't really matter, is to make decisions. When you're in situations, you cannot be indecisive. You cannot be passive. And I've learned that just through experience in life. And we talk about with warrior men, you have to be passive. You don't want to be passive. You want to make decisions, and take care of your family. And so I say to people, indecision is the thief of all opportunities. It's a great Jim Rohn quote, but it's so true. You don't want to hesitate. You don't want to procrastinate. And I tell most people, if you're listening, I mean, listen, maybe try the products first. That's a great way to start. Samples we have to trying the products, and thank the person that invited you on this call. It's one thing I'm really big on, John. Always thank that person that invited you to a party, especially before the big party begins, because that means that they care about you. You know, they look up to you. Okay, they look at you as somebody possibly to partner with. And then also look at the opportunity, because the one thing I do know, much like your story, 6 years ago, you joined for $80. And this has become a multi-million-dollar residual empire for you and your family. So, when I look at that right there, most people, the reason they don't take that leap, John, is because they have fear. And if you don't mind wrapping us up here tonight, and I know your background in the spiritual foundation in your family, which is powerful. How do we face fears and overcome that and move forward?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And, to be fully transparent, there's really been only one fear that I've fought my entire life since really I got the day I got married. And that was a fear of not being able to provide enough for my wife and my children. And I wish I could tell you, Mike, that, I prayed one night and that fear was just gone instantly, but that's just not how it works. And people always ask us, like, how are you able to, reach ambassador diamond of the company? How are you able to, reach this rank or that rank? Was it scary? Anything worth doing is always going to be scary. Anything worth doing, there's always going to be fear that comes in. And what I really believe more than anything is that, we serve a powerful God who wants us to walk in ways that we never imagined that we could. But there's also an enemy out there who doesn't want us to succeed. He wants to take us down. The word says that he comes to steal, he comes to kill, and he comes to destroy. And you know what? When you are going to take a step into something that's going to change other people's lives, guess what? There's going to be opposition. There's going to be a battle. And with that, there is going to be a possibility that you are going to face some fear. But what I have learned is that it's not that I have to be fearless. It's that I just have to have enough courage to take a first step. And I think, when I think about how we accomplished what we accomplished in a specific industry, it was a lot of closing our eyes, saying, God, I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to take a step of faith. And I'm going to face the fear. I'm going to do it when I feel like it. And I'm going to do it when I don't feel like it. I'm going to do it whether I believe I can succeed or whether I believe I'm going to fall flat on my face. But what you will find more often than not is that it's the biggest lie is that you have to overcome that fear before you step into a calling. When in actuality, you just have to overcome. You need that 2 seconds of courage to take that first step. And once you take that first step, it's like a baby learning to walk. Once you take that first step, guess what? You take a second step, and then you take a third step. And then guess what? Now you can trot a little bit. Now you can, walk a little bit faster. And then next thing you know, now you're jogging and then you're sprinting. But everyone looks at people like Mike and Brandy and myself and Sherry Lynn and other people who are very successful, and all you see is us sprinting. But the fact of the matter is that we all had to learn to crawl, we all had to learn to walk, we all had to learn to run, and we all had to learn to sprint at some point in our career. And it's not that we are more courageous, it's not that we have some talent that you don't have or some gifting that you don't have. The Lord created us in a specific way. Individually, I'm not Mike, and Mike is not me, and I'm not Annika, and Annika's not Mia. We are all individuals called by God to be the best version of ourselves we can be. And if you can lay your head on the pillow at night and you can honestly say to yourself, Lord, I did everything I could with the time you gave me today, that's all you got to worry about. And if you can live your life focusing on yourself, staying in your lane, understanding that it doesn't matter what this person's doing or that person's doing, the enemy knows that he doesn't have to destroy you. He just has to distract you. And so you need to understand that if you will stay focused, on him first, God first, everything else falls into place. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. And so you seek him first. You put him in position. And then the last thing, Mike, and then I'll shut up, is that you understand everything you do, it's not you doing it anyway. You are simply a vessel. You are simply someone that is getting to be used in a mighty way. And so if it was up to me and my strength and my knowledge and my talent, guess what? We wouldn't be successful in this. But it's not up to me. All it's up to me is to be obedient and then to show up every day. To be obedient, show up every day. A lot of us, we will take the step, but then we don't do anything. Like, the Lord cannot bless inactivity. Like, he can't do it. Like, you can pray all you want, but if you don't go out there and do something, he can't bless what you put your hands to if you don't put your hands to anything. And so, like, you take a step day after day and you stay consistent, and you don't take vacations for 2 months and just fall off the face of the planet and wonder why life's not changing for you. No, there are days we don't want to do it. And guess what? We do it. There are days that we're like, man, we are, double ambassador. Are we ever going to hit that? Yeah, we still think, are we ever? Yes, we're going to hit that. Why? Not because we're fearless, but because we're taking steps every day. Whether they're big steps, small steps, it doesn't matter. We're taking steps. So make sure, if you're facing fear, just take a step. Take a step. I don't care how small it is. Take a step. Ask one person today. Invite one person today. People need life change. And so understand that the fear that's coming, it's not from him. It's from an enemy that's trying to distract you. And understand that for whatever reason, you're in the position that you're in to reach the people around you. Do it day in and day out. And put your hands to something every day. And I guarantee you, and give it to the Lord, and great things will happen.
I'm just watching the chat line blow up here. But John, that was awesome. I mean, listen, the last just 3-4 minutes of what you just shared was extremely powerful. And I think everybody needs to hear that, regardless of what they're doing, regardless if they're going to be a customer or join as a distributor, because that's good stuff. And we really appreciate it. And for the guests that are on here tonight, I hope that this was something that exceeded your expectations, and that's what we love about these calls, because it's great to meet new people. It's great to hear their stories. It's great to get advice like that when you look at the success, John, that you and your wife and your family have had. It's not something that it just appeared. I always tell people it takes that time and commitment. And, I wish it could all happen in 90 days or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. But I always tell people this. I want to leave everybody with this great thought here tonight, because John just gave you a blueprint. He was like a GPS tonight to where you want to go. But here's what you need to know. No matter how long it takes you to get to where you need or want to be, the results are going to be the same. Let that sink in, let it set in, because, if John and Sherry Lynn would have quit after a year because it wasn't doing everything they thought it was, they would not be here 6 years later, the number 2 income earners in the company. And that's what you need to think about here tonight, no matter how long you've been involved, or if you're a brand new person and you're thinking, man, I just signed up, or I'm going to sign up, and I want to go out there and do some really big things in my life. Just remember, it's gonna take what John just shared. It's going to take that first step, and it's going to take some time and commitment. But the one thing we do have right now with everybody being home, John, is we have some time on our hands. A lot of people are like, you got some time on your hands, let's use it for some good things. But John, thank you so much for having the heart to jump on this call here tonight. I know you're busy with the family. I've seen those great videos by your pool. Not sure what that was all about, but I think you lost the one. But you guys are having some fun, and thank everybody who joined here the call, and we'll definitely get the recordings out for everybody. Have an awesome rest of your Saturday night. John, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Mike. I'll be safe, stay safe, and let's finish April strong. And if you haven't joined, join us now. It's the best time ever. Get with whoever invited you to the call, and let's change some lives together. 2020 is going to be an amazing year. But Mike, thanks so much for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, have an awesome night, everyone.